What's up, my beautiful YouTube family? This is Elder Stacy Zanders. I'm going to be answering just a couple of questions that people had asked me, Bible questions that you may find interesting as well. And the first question, let's get right to it, is found in the book of Genesis, chapter number 8, verse number 22. Let me read it first. It says, "While the earth remains, there will be seed time and harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter, day and night will not cease." So God made a promise that after the flood, as long as he destroyed it by water, and after the flood, he said there are going to be some conditions that will not cease, that will not end. And what is that? That again is going to be, you're going to be able to plant and harvest. Cold and heat, summer, winter, day and night will not cease as long as the earth remains. And this may be considered the basic text because there is a doctrine for what's called limited uniformitarianism. The theory, and then there's also another theory of total uniformitarianism, which is refuted in 2 Peter chapter 3, verses 1 through 6. But let me first define limited uniformitarianism is a theoretical system that Galileo presented in the year 1830 and was composed of three requirements or principles. Number one, the uniformity principle, which states that past geological events must be explained by the same causes now in operation. Two, the uniformity rate principle, which states that the geological laws operate with the same force as at present. And three, the steady state principle, which states that the earth does not undergo any directional change. So the total uniformitarianism principle, this theory denies, one, the possibility of a universal flood and a final judgment of the world, with, in Genesis 8:22 guarantees that the earth, that after the flood, the seasonal cycle of the earth will continue uninterrupted while the earth remains until the end of the millennium kingdom. So the doctrine of limited uniformitarianism assures us that the world cannot be destroyed with water, not during our lifetimes, not until after the millennium. The millennium reign of Christ. But let me look here. Let's go to Peter. Let me read from you from Peter, 2 Peter chapter 3. I'm going to read verses 3 through 7 so you can understand what this means. While the earth remains, limited uniformitarianism in the principles and total uniformitarianism. And the principle states that God will not destroy the earth again. There are people who believe that the world is going to be destroyed. It will not be destroyed by water. Peter says that he destroyed the first time with water. The second time is going to be done by fire. But let me read this here to answer this person's question about this particular verse. Now, I want you to first understand that this happened after Noah, after the flood, where God says, while the earth remains, these principles will not cease. But it says in 2 Peter chapter number 3, verse 3, "Knowing this first, that there shall come in the last days scoffers, walking in their own lust, and saying, where is the promise of his coming? For since the fathers fell asleep, all things continue as they were from the beginning of creation." So you had people even here saying, y'all saying the Lord is going to come. Everything is continuing as it is. We're sowing, we're reaping. There's hot, there's cold, there's summer, there's winter. These systems are continuing. So where is the Lord? They were scoffing, mocking. He says, for this they are willingly ignorant of, that by the word of God the heavens were of old, and the earth standing out of water and in the water, whereby the world that then was being overflowed with water perished. So Peter said out of their ignorance they're making this statement, when in fact God destroyed that old world with water. Listen, everything that was out of the water was destroyed. Everything that was covered by water, it remained. And that goes to say something. Everything in that time period that was exposed was destroyed. Anything in our lives that's exposed will be destroyed. Anything in our life that is covered will be saved. Just like, look, every shark, every whale, every dolphin, every manatee, every whatever, mahi, whatever was covered by water, it survived the devastation. They saw God destroy the earth. They watched it because he covered it all with water. Anything that was exposed, God drowned. Every creeping thing that creepeth and flieth, every animal and every human being perished, except those that was covered in the ark. Do you understand what I'm saying? So that's a little Bible there for you. But he says this here, verse 7, but the heavens and the earth, which are now by the same word, are kept in store, reserved, listen, unto fire against the day of judgment and perdition of ungodly men. So he destroyed it by water the first time. But look at what Peter goes on to say here. He says in verse 10, I'm just adding this to it. I'm in 10, 11, and 12. He says, but the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, and that which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up. So he won't destroy it with water, but he will destroy it with fire. Verse 11, he says, seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons are ye be in all holy conversation and godliness? He said, this is coming. So this should provoke you to live the way God has ordained us to live. In verse 12, looking for and hasting unto the coming of the day of God, wherein the heavens being on fire shall be dissolved, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. So while the earth remained, God would not destroy this world, not with water. Okay, you have that. Okay, so we answered that question. So while the earth remained, these conditions are going to continue until after the millennium, 1,000-year reign of Christ. So if, excuse me. So if there, you got the tribulation period, you got the millennium kingdom that has to come. And if someone asked me another question about an asteroid that has the potential to hit the earth, they said in the year 2029. The asteroid scientists called it Apotheosis. The name was derived from the Egyptian god of chaos. Does the Bible predict such an event? They asked. I told them that it would be impossible for an asteroid to hit the earth and wipe out all mankind in this time frame. The Bible tells us, or the next order of events to take place will be in this sequence. Number 1, the rapture of the church. Number 2, the tribulation period, which will last 7 years. And 3, the 1,000-year reign of Christ upon the earth. So I told them that if the rapture of the church took place today, then there will be at least 1,007 years before the earth could be destroyed. Because we know that the word of God is true, that the word of God is faithful, it is accurate, and everything must come to pass. Peter, the apostle Peter, said that God destroyed the earth the first time with water and will destroy it the second time by fire, where the elements will melt with fervent heat. So an asteroid could be possible at this particular time. But let me give my caution, warning, or disclaimer that I do not know how the event will, when it will happen, or just how it's going to come to pass, except for the fact that what Peter said, that the second time he'll destroy it with fire. It could be an asteroid that could hit the earth. It could be a solar flare that comes from the sun that just burns off the atmosphere, the electromagnetic field, and then burn or renovate the earth that way by burning up. It could be any of those things. There's a lot of possibilities. Gamma rays, X-rays, ultraviolet rays, all of these rays has the potential to set this planet on fire. And then there was another question. This question that was asked was, did Adam and Eve have daughters or a daughter? And the answer to that question is yes, they did. In the book of Genesis, chapter 5, I'm going to if you begin reading at verse number 3, it says that Adam lived 130 years and begat a son in his image and in his own likeness. And after his image, he called his name Seth. And the days of Adam after he begat Seth were 800 years, and he begot sons and daughters. And all the days that Adam lived was 930 years, and he died. So to answer the question, did Adam have daughters? Yes. But let me put that into context so people can understand. When time began when Adam fell in the garden. Before Adam sinned or failed, there was no time. We don't know how long Adam and Eve lived before the fall. The clock started ticking at the fall. God said, in the day that you eat thereof, you will surely die. Then the clock started ticking. We don't know how many children Adam and Eve had. It could have been a few, it could have been hundreds, it could have been thousands, could have been 10,000s. We simply don't know. But we do know that he had both sons and daughters. And what made Cain, Abel, and Seth significant is because those three were born after the fall. They were born in sin. So you had two classes of children. You had children that was born with a perfect nature that Adam and Eve had when their helix or their core DNA was straight. It wasn't bent or twisted. Cain, Abel, and Seth was born with a twisted nature, an Adamic nature, the fallen nature of God. But we know that they had daughters because when Cain was driven out the presence of God, he came back to God and said, my punishment is greater than I can bear. And everywhere I go, whoever lay their eyes on me is something in them where they desire to kill me. Then we know God put a mark upon Cain and made a statement, whosoever. So the fact that God said whosoever killed Cain tells you that there was other people on the planet. There was other people here. It wasn't just Adam and Eve, Cain, Abel, and Seth. There was communities of people because Cain said, wherever I go, everyone wants to kill me. So then Cain leaves the presence of God. Again, it said he went to and dwelt in the land of Nod, which is another indication. If Adam and Eve is over close to the garden, paradise that God created, and then Cain left to go dwell in the land of Nod, and he said, and then he found his wife there. So there was people born to Adam and Eve before Cain. So I hope that answers your questions. If you have any questions, you can always feel free to drop it in there. We will answer the questions that you have with our biblical knowledge and understanding and give you nothing but the word of God. So until the next time, keep yourself blessed, stay safe, stay prayerful, keep your mind and your eyes on the soon coming of the Lord. And until the next video, as always, God bless you.